Hey guys, I've got a great exercise for us where we can practice one of the most fun and challenging flamenco rhythms ever and seamlessly combine it round and round with one of the most famous Spanish guitar themes of all time. What we're going to do here is take the Leyenda theme, the first 4 bars, that opening, famous, very memorable theme, written for piano actually, but we only ever really hear it played on guitar. It's almost synonymous with Spanish guitar at this point. We're going to take that, it's going to be happening in groups of 6, and we're going to try to jump into the Bulerías rhythm in a key that you probably haven't seen before, the key of B Phrygian, whereas that form is more often than not played in A Phrygian. So this gives us a little bit of a more interesting and I think moody sound. So we're going to learn some chords there and put this all together, and ultimately this is going to be a really terrific practice for your rhythm. Let's look at the Leyenda or Asturias theme real quick. I'm just going to use my thumb right now because the essential part is that we get this bass note melody happening. A lot of you already know this. When I first got into Leyenda, it might have been years where I only played this beginning part and never even worried about learning the rest of it. It's a very difficult piece, but that actual opening theme is not that bad. It's not that hard to do at all. Okay. So we're in the 7th position, and we're going to be outlining really an E minor scale here, which is the same notes as B Phrygian, and we're going to kind of toggle between those two modes, you could say. But I'm starting here on an E note on the 7th fret of the 5th string, and then play what we could say is a perfect 5th that looks like a power chord. We're very familiar with this shape on guitar, right? So we're going like this. I'm going to say the number of the fret. 7, 9, 10, 7 on the next string towards the floor. Then back to 9 with your ring finger, and then 10 on the 5th string. That's really it. There'll be a closing phrase that's a little bit different, but for the most part, this is what's happening. Okay, the 4th time we're gonna go like this. 7 on the 4th string, and then 9 and 10 on the 5th string. 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 10. And then back to here if you were to repeat it. And that's really all we're going to do from Leyenda, and we're going to jump into this flamenco form in a second. If you've never played Leyenda before, I would encourage you to just repeat that a million times, but what we want to add is the open B string in between every thumb stroke. And there's a number of ways we can do this, like Pepe Romero just uses his index finger, I believe, going like this. P, I, P, I, P, I, P, I. You could use any finger that you want, and I think it's a good practice to use your middle finger only, or even your ring finger, which feels horrible. Right? But it's a great practice. I'm used to playing this, we could say the Segovia way, where we play thumb, index, thumb, middle, and just keep alternating in that exact order. Thumb, index, thumb, middle. So every other time you'll use your middle finger on the B string. Okay, like I said, we're in the key of E minor here, so we can play an E minor chord this way. It's not really minor, I know. If you took your pinky out, we could say it's E minor. But let's just play power chords here. Of course, I guess in flamenco or Spanish guitar land, we wouldn't call it a power chord, more of a rock thing. But I'm going to call it a power chord. With this, and then we go down to the 5th fret, that's a D power chord. You might want to take your middle finger here and block lightly the 6th string so we don't hear that. And then we got a C power chord. That one sounds great. That's really C major 7. There's a B note in there. That sounds pretty cool. And then we got a B down here. So you might recognize this as the Andalusian cadence, even though we're just playing power chords. We're going to use that to come in and out of Leyenda, and then we can go back up this way. And to get back to E, there's so many ways that we can do this, and I think once I give you the main idea here, you'll be off to the races, and you can kind of do all kinds of different interpolations of this and combinations. But what I want to do to get back to E minor is to go to this chord, if you can. D sharp diminished 7th. Kind of another way of saying B7. It just wants, your ear wants to hear E minor more than that. So when we're going to work on the rhythm to Bulerías here in a second, but I'm going B, C, D, D sharp diminished 7th, and that's just going to make us go into Leyenda so much more readily, or at least it's going to sound so much more appropriate. Hey, whether you're just getting started with Spanish guitar or you've been doing it for a long time but aren't quite sure you're doing things correctly, check out my free workshop where I show you the efficient way to play the 3 most important techniques in Spanish guitar. Before we really get into this rhythm, let's look at some other things we can do to kind of nasty a couple of these chords up. Here's our B5. Take your pinky and put it here. That's a flat 9, and I've talked about this in other videos. That just gives it a more Spanish sound, no doubt about it. Sounds really cool, right? And you can also mess around with that same exact note. Instead of doing it there with your pinky, just keep your pinky tucked underneath your ring finger and just mess around with this finger. You're doing that rhythm. Just wiggle your finger. There's nothing more scientific about it than that. And that sounds really cool. You can even pull it off open. Okay, let's start counting. We're going to count in groups of 12, starting on 12, with an accent on the 12, on the 3, on the 6, the 8, the 10. There's different ways to do that. There's more modern ways where we could accent on the 7 or whatever, but we're just keeping it as simple as we can. It's not really that simple, and it's going to sound like this with a metronome. 12, 3, 6, 8, 10. 12, 3, 6, 8, 10, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So when you hear me do this, I'm going to probably do a golpe with the downstroke whenever there is one of those accents like this. And I'm doing some other upstrokes in there. You'll see that in the tab on the screen. Don't even worry so much about that, especially if you're just getting into this. Just play down when those accents happen. On the 12, the 3, 6, 8, 10, and worry about the other stuff later. You got to feel the accents first and then just mess around. And it really comes down sometimes to just wiggling your finger, like I said, with your left hand, in between in the spaces that you know you have time to do so. Okay, so here's what it's going to sound like when I do it. Okay, so I'm going 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we can do that as many times as we want. Might have to do it a million times if you're just getting into this. And I wouldn't encourage you to start with this if you've never heard of any of this stuff before. I would go to a form like Solea or something that's slower but still has an accent pattern like that. Although you will start counting on the 1 there instead of 12. But this one, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's different schools of thought. You could start with the crazy one, and then if you can wrap your brain around this, then the other ones are easier. But I didn't learn that way. I learned the easier stuff first, which I think is the way to go. But here's what I'm going to do as I climb up to get into Leyenda. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's different ways we can do this. I could have done that on the 10. But in any case, we're going to wait on the 11. This is such an awesome counting exercise and super weird. I get that, but you should definitely try to do this. When we say 11, that's our chance to get ready for Leyenda. And what's also a great exercise about this, not just the timing and the counting, is we got to go from something where we're really aggressively, probably, doing the strumming, and then we have to go to something that's a lot more delicate. So you might see me move my hand over here more. Feels a little bit too weird here because I'm trying to not pound away at it really loud. So that's a challenge as well, going and getting a little bit, almost switching into a different attitude or mode right there of not slamming it as hard as you can. So really great practice, I think. And you should always be seeing where you can do things like this in your own playing, like a little snippet, a song riff that you know. Can you combine it with another thing that you know? I just think that keeps us more thinking more creatively, and it's just more fun. And it's a great way to practice and not feel like we're really practicing like we would if we were doing a bunch of drills. Let's see what it sounds like if I do land on the 10 here, and then on 11 there's nothing. Okay, I'll do it without a metronome, try to count it, and then we'll put the metronome on and then jump in between these two. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 2. Now when we get to Leyenda, it's going to totally mess you up if you keep counting 12, 1, 2, 3. But if you already know Leyenda, that's in sixes. You could count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to say don't count it at all. Because if you know it, you know it. Jump right into that. And then at the very end, we're going to morph right into the Bulerías rhythm. But we're going to do it another way and come backwards. So here it is again. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me do another way, like I said earlier. So many ways to do it. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. To give yourself a bunch of time there. Although one could argue that on the 10, we need to have a chord there where we can slam it really hard. It's kind of the end of the whole sequence there on the 10. So let's put the metronome on. Here we go. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There. So I made it, and I'm looking at my metronome here to make sure that I made it. Right at the end of it, when we conclude that phrase, da, 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 that should be on the 12 and the beginning of going back into the Bulerías rhythm again, right? So right here, we would like to be down here, because that's what we did a second ago, right? But now we're going to go backwards and start on E and come down that Andalusian cadence, like I was saying, and wind up back where we started here. So that's the goal here, is just go round and round and round forever. So back to the end here, I'm going 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you can choose, you know, when do you really want to change the chord? You can stay a little bit longer. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or just experiment, whatever you like. And I think if you do it different every time, that's even better. Now, just for more drama, you noticed I was doing this kind of thing. And that's a little bit harder thing to do, obviously. But what I'm doing there is going pinkyless rasgueo, going ring finger, middle, index, and then up. But I'm flicking it off my thumb, and then I'm immediately silencing it here. So I might be going... And that's ending right on the 10, and the 11 is our time to get going to the next part, to Leyenda, and then start that. So I'll do it nice and slow here. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can stay as long as I want here on this chord just to get going. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. See how I'm wiggling my finger around? However you want. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we're into Leyenda. I hope you like combining things like this together as much as I do. Just a really fun, great way to practice, and it really is two great tastes that go great together. Speaking of combining Bulerías with something else, check out this next video where I take the 12-bar blues pattern and combine it with Bulerías for hours of fun.